Okay, welcome to the main presentation for Truck Driver Nation. I hope the calculator helped. It's got obviously, remember, you can go back into the website, get access to that, so you can go in there and play with it. But that being said, this is going to last about an hour. It's got a lot of great content. I hope you hang out to the very end so I can come back and answer your questions. Outside of that, there is a lot of stuff that is not included in here that comes along with the program that doesn't charge anything. And for you that are actually experienced freight dispatchers, make sure that if you know you got the skill set, get a hold of me. Let's see what we can work out if you actually want to work with us here at Truck Driver Nation. If you actually want to go the other routes, obviously we'll discuss that at that given point. But all right, everybody kick back. Please take notes, be patient, and we'll get through this as quickly as possible. Okay, we're fixing to jump off of the webinar, like I said, but we want you to understand by the time you reach the end of the webinar, or maybe after the Q&A session that we have at the end of the webinar, there's three paths that you need to obviously kind of figure out what you want to do in order to become a freight dispatcher or continue in your career as a freight dispatcher. One's going to be, do you just want to go to work for one of the carriers we represent, because we recruit truck drivers and freight dispatchers for carriers that we represent. They're going to want you to be full-time based on the criteria that, because it's going to be their own individual choice whether they're going to hire you, just like it is for the truck drivers. But that being said, it might be hazmat, tankers. There's all types of variables based on the different types of trucking companies that we actually recruit for. The second one, do you want to work for us at at Truck Driver Nation? Yes, our standards are hard. It's a full-time position only type of situation, but we got to make sure that you're the right fit for us and that you feel the same way about that. So, we don't like hiring people, start training you, and then all of a sudden you don't want to be in logistics. So you have to have a proven track record with us before we're actually going to bring you into our family. The third one's going to be, once you've learned how to do all this, a lot of people just decided to do it on their own. We show you how that works. That's what the courses are for. So if that's the way you want to go, we will absolutely make sure that you're successful. And in a lot of instances, you actually end up partnering with us as a business partner, not working for us as an independent contractor. And that's great because we both benefit a lot off each other. And as far as doing it on your own, you can actually do this as a part-time or a full-time position. A lot of people transitioning, like the teachers, the nurses, the real estate, the insurance folks, they start this doing this part-time, and then obviously they transition over into a full-time position, because remember, after the course, we continue to mentor you, so we end up building long-term relationships with everybody that actually comes in, whether they're wanting to go to work with us or they're seeking assistance to learn how to do what we do. Now, most of the people that go to work for the carrier, like straight out the gate, we don't usually have that long-term relationship because you're actually under somebody else's roof, umbrella type of deal, so you're working directly with them. But by the time we reach the end, these are three of the things you want to have in the back of your mind. Which way do you want to go with what we're fixing to show you and offer you? Before we jump on into this course or this presentation, I want you to understand why most people do fail at freight dispatching before we move into it, so you can make these decisive decisions. For one, you're messing with people with too much scattered information. I'm sure you spoke with people or looked at information before you got to me to consider Truck Driver Nation, and these are the biggest things that we're actually seeing, because we ask people. They come in, they can't get started, they took some bullcrap course, and now they're having problems. The next thing, people are not giving you a step-by-step system. This is a system. For one, it's set up by the federal government, but the steps that we do for every load is a systematic step-by-step approach. And no real world operations training. Look, if they haven't been out there in this field and they say they're going to mentor you, how can they mentor you if they don't know nothing? So, and another one is no supports when problems happen. That comes back to us mentoring you. If you get pushbacks from the brokers, carriers asking questions, or paperwork becomes too confusing, nobody's giving you that help. Just ask me. I'll show you exactly what we do. I've got videos built on every single point of this. And if there ain't one, then we need to actually fix that problem, because you're not the only person having that problem. And contracts, forms, and business structure, look, we give you the contracts and all the forms so that you don't have to worry about writing it all up. And these were built by law firms. So if you're having that but you still don't have the structure, that's the whole point of the step-by-step process. And nobody explains carrier onboarding correctly. It ain't carrier onboarding, it's literally recruiting. And you go down and there's literally step-by-step instructions on what you need from them, what they need to sign, what they need to get back to you quickly. So it shouldn't take you more than 1 to 2 days. And I got people saying, well, okay, it's taking us a week and a half. Something really wrong with that picture. And weak load board strategy, it ain't about arguing. It ain't about fighting, okay? All we do is negotiate out the rate based on what that particular carrier needs. And if it don't meet the means, you have to say, well, I appreciate it. Leave it an open-ended statement, and we'll show you how to strategize when you're actually looking at the board and negotiating out the rates, and when you're loading your getting your people put on board when you're dealing with this. So you got to know the markets, the lane strategy, the rates, the reload planning, the profitability analysis, and the overall most important thing out of all of it is the relationship management and no accountability. Now, without structure, mentorship, and community, most people, you're losing. Okay, you're not going to become profitable. So you need to keep all these aspects when you're looking at what we're offering and how I can actually help you. Otherwise, you're just going to continue on the rat wheel, just running around in circles. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. Because if you don't take no action, it ain't even going to happen. So, Truck Driver Nation, what was built to remove this confusion? I built it myself. There's no excuse. If anything backfires, if anything don't work out, I am the singular person that is accountable. I don't hand it off. Well, you work for me, handle the problem. I literally give you the QR code inside of our homepage so you can easily, it's an open door policy. Talk to me, tell me what it is. So what I help you with is actually the real world training, the real support with real systems will actually generate real results, what actually ends up being real cash going to your bank account. So what do we offer at Truck Driver Nation? The goal here is obviously to build success for you, for your efforts, or what you're actually investing in yourself. What we do provide, we got the virtual textbook, the video video modules, and it's going to be a different layer of video modules. Some of them are going to be ebooks, some of them are going to be more like practical skills. And what all this does, it gives you the ability to learn anytime, no matter where you're at. We do have the live webinars depending on the course that you choose. So it could be a Tuesdays and a Thursdays, as well as, like I said, all the video content, as well as ongoing education, even after you finish the course. Now, obviously, you do have a 90-day course window to complete the certification. Otherwise, it ain't otherwise. You have to actually extend because at 90 days, we just consider that you're not serious about the course, and we do shut it off at that point. So that does not continue to go on because it just doesn't show the devotion that we actually need in this, because we're trying to get you from where you're at to where you need to be. And in actuality, this should only take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to complete. So there is a 90-day limitation on the course that we're providing for you to get your certification. Now, the dispatch job board, we do have that as well, that you can go in there, and we've got connections with companies that do look for actual individuals that want to work for their company. Otherwise, we're actually promoting you to actually be your own business, and we're going to help you through all the processes to make sure that you don't get lugged down or lagged behind, so you can be productive as quickly as possible. Now, as far as outsourced dispatchers, we do outsource to the Philippines for those that are interested. Whether you first get going, get your experience, and then you actually want to partner with us, but that is available and it's very beneficial as well as very profitable. Dual certificates, when you're doing this, basically because you really do need to recruit. So we do say we're giving you freight dispatching because that's what you're paying for, but in truth, you're really getting driver recruiter as well. You'll understand how you need to be able to recruit these owner operators and how we source these owner operators to benefit you as an independent freight dispatcher. Now, access to proprietary materials and intellectual property. This is one of the things that you have to understand. You're getting strictly from the perspective of what we're giving you in a very unique way. I mean, software development, you can customize stuff, but some of this is going to be actually not only outsourced, but we'll show you what's free, what's available. There's lots of tools inside your dispatcher tools. As far as the trade secrets that I personally use and I've taught other students, as well as I'll be teaching you, and the mentorship, just like we discussed earlier, you're always going to have access to the webinars so you can come in and continue to learn. Flexible payment options. For all of that, you have to go to the payment portal, and we've got a lot of varieties from people that've got bad credit that need some kind of financing, to people that got great credit that need financing, as well as ways that we actually finance through our company to help you out if that's what needs to happen. So there's plenty of ways that you can actually access the ability to take this course without being tied down in a situation where you're trying to get out the gate and nobody's there helping you. So we've got a lot of avenues to assist you financially. Owner operator sourcing, we definitely go over it, like I said before, in deep detail, and not including that there's always new strategies being developed, because we learn from the students as well. I mean, we got some great students that come in depending on what they, which level they're taking. With VIP students, we learn a lot more than obviously we learn with the basic students, but as well as the elite students, they're totally invested. Not saying that nobody below that is, but we definitely see a big difference in those level of students based on what they've got invested into their education. Free company drivers to leverage with the owner operators. Obviously, we give those to you. If you're So if you got an owner operator has 3 drivers or so, then obviously we can give you those drivers to help you establish your credibility with the owner operators, let them understand that you can source those drivers. But the outsourcing is going to be one thing that we actually can go ahead and get you those owner operators as well, even if you're not wanting to dig for them. Through the sourcing, and obviously we'll discuss the details of that as well. So we don't just train you, as we say, we help you build your career. So when you're actually coming into this, you need to make sure you understand you're not just coming into a part-time job. This is no way you couldn't hardly make this part-time if you wanted to. But this is actually, you're actually transitioning over to a full-blown freight dispatching career. So keep that in mind as you make your decision to move forward. Okay, so you want to be a freight dispatcher. Okay, if I want to be a freight dispatcher, how am I going to know that I'm going to be able to make money? For one, there's over 1 million owner operators in the United States. We're not talking about just truck drivers. We're talking about people that have their own MC. And that being said, they need back office support, because if they're married, a lot of them get divorced. Boy, trucking is a great place to lose a relationship, because that, long distance relationship don't really work out real well. Yeah, things have changed a little bit because you can get on the phone, but still, it is nothing like that physical touch, that companionship, that life walk with somebody that actually ends up destroying a lot of relationships. And, I think we're over 60 or 70% divorce rate to begin with. So you being a freight dispatcher, I know I'm using that as an avenue to understand, but I've been in this a long time, and that's one of the biggest things I've seen. Or they don't want to include their family. They just want a freight dispatcher that can give them that back office support, dealing with the shippers, dealing with the brokers, dealing with the lumpers and all this other stuff that kind of comes in effect, dealing with the factoring services, make sure everything gets paid, all the permits stay up to speed. That's the reason there's such a big opening for you. And yeah, there's a turnover rate in here because a lot of people get in here and don't understand the routine of what they should be doing based on if you're going to actually dispatch part-time or full-time. So there's plenty of growth in here for you as a freight dispatch service, not just to fill your personal needs if you're just going to be a one-man show, but even if you want to scale it. Now, yeah, we can go over that whole aspect of going to work for somebody, but once you get to realizing you're going to be a lot better off just doing this, like even if you want to work with me, absolutely, there's always an opportunity to work with me. But the deal is, why do you want to pay me money? Then I'm letting you do all the work and I just get a cut just so you can lay under Truck Driver Nation's name. That's not really the right mindset to have if you really want to make revenue in the United States. Do I welcome you? Of course I welcome you. Hell, you're actually helping me make money. I'm all about that. But that being said, trust me, there's plenty of room in here for you as a freight dispatcher. Let me give you some facts about being a freight dispatcher and why you do have this position to begin with. Owner operators, they really are truck drivers. They actually just want to drive their truck. They don't want to dispatch. They have a lot of burden on their shoulders just keep managing not to even getting wrecks out there. So what you need to understand is truckers earn money for being on the road, not at a desk. Dispatching obviously needs time, negotiation, paperwork, and communication, pulling for them from driving. Okay, that pulling them from driving definitely slows down their overall productivity, and that's where you come in. If they had a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever it might have been on the back end to support them in this aspect, they wouldn't be reaching out to you and needing your services. And brokers don't always prioritize drivers. And not even that, even the dispatchers don't always prioritize drivers. So Drivers accept low paying loads due to time or the info gaps. Remember, they have to negotiate these rates. It's not like you can just stop for 30 minutes, make a quick judgment on a load board, and be able to pull that freight. Sometimes it might take 6 or 7 calls, and what if they got more than one truck? That's the whole point behind it. These days, if you wreck that truck, good chance they're going to see some prison time if anybody's actually killed. Also, in addition, because you're there all the time doing this, they have a better chance of getting better lanes that are more profitable. Instead of just struggling with the load boards and obviously the gaps that come in with these rates based on the area that they're in. Now, dispatchers do work for the drivers, securing better freight and reducing downtime. And the downtime aspect is going to be that they can go and pre-schedule everything. Because let's say that an owner-operator schedules a load, gets there, and it's not set on an appointment, and it had to be on an appointment. Now they got to reschedule an appointment and sit there and wait. That's one of the dilemmas. That's what you, as a freight dispatcher, we will teach you how to cover, and that's only one base. We'll teach you how to cover all these bases that can cause transportation delays. So, and also a fragmented freight market. You know, there is a lot of brokers out there, and I mean, there's a lot of load boards. So it's hard for one, owner operator to be able to handle all of that. It depends on how many load boards they're going to be using. And with dispatchers, you've got time to look at the market, look at what's going on day to day, listen to the brokers, and all those things when you're actually doing this. And so when you're actually talking to your owner operator in whatever given instance, you can give him the skinny of what's going on instead of him just seeing one message and assuming that's the way everything is swinging. So that is the reason why it really is a necessary market for freight dispatchers. Now let's move to this for a second. If you come and you say, okay, Truck Driver Nation, I want you to represent me. I want you to teach me this and take me to the next level. But what makes you the one that I need to depend on? That's easy for us. Everybody can give you videos, PDFs, slides, etc. We give you live interaction and support. That's the whole deal behind the webinars. We get real access to live load boards and job placement. These are actually trucking companies that we recruit drivers for. So if you want to go to work for them, you're more than welcome. But like I tell people, why are you going to give 2/3 of your money away to a company to go to work for them when you can literally do this at your house? Why give up making on the bottom end roughly around $4,000 to $6,000 a week? If you're doing dry van, you'll probably do just over $3,000. But on average, most of the people I know are doing reefer, flatbed, and step deck. Because remember, I only teach dry van, reefer, flatbed, and step deck. That being said, you're normally going to see your revenue every week being between $4,000 and $6,000 a week. Also, access to the owner operators. Nobody gives you these leads. We are literally giving you these guys that are trying to get a hold of us because they need dispatchers. Your job is only going to be to talk to them to see if they want to work with you as their independent freight dispatcher. Also, industry connection and resources. We've got tons of industry resources and connections because we're actually in this. We got 58 trucking companies. The resources, not just including the tools that we have in the website itself, it's just the overall connections. If you have something and you're needing, let's say, a trailer, or you're needing insurance, or you're needing a better fuel card for your owner operator, we literally include those in our content so you don't have to go around digging around. We made this course so you are time efficient. We don't want you to have to learn every aspect because we got people coming in to learn freight dispatching now that have no experience about all this stuff. So it's easier for me to give it to you. Like I tell this everybody, it's just easier for me to give it to you, and it's inside the content in the course. Just click the tab and there they are. Also, opportunities to grow beyond being a dispatcher. We offer, you can be a truck driver recruiter on the side. If you want to be a freight agent, I can hook you up with that. Or even if you want to recruit and work for our company as an independent recruiter, you can do that as well. There's a lot of other things that we offer inside this course. The freight dispatch, and the reason we do the freight dispatch and push it so hard, because I know once you have that in your hands, we get you there. I don't have to worry about you not having money every week, okay? I don't want you saying, George, I don't have a good enough paycheck to pay my bills, and I entrusted you. That's the whole point why we want you to be a freight dispatcher first. So that's the whole thing. We mentor you and everything to get you there. And strategy, the whole thing behind this is strategy. Even taking the freight dispatch course to begin with, that is part of the strategy. I'm not trying to get you to understand why I give you what I give you in the sequence that I give you. Like I tell people, just trust the overall process. I'm going to give you this. This is just a stepping stone to get you inside logistics. But anyways, got questions about it? Make sure to ask. I have a tendency of going off and preaching. I'm not a salesman. It's just I'm passionate about this because this is what I've done for over 30 years. So let's move along. Okay, why is this course great for digital nomads, expats and stuff like that? Because I actually go a lot of out of the country time. I ditch the United States all the time, go running around to other countries. And one thing I've noticed is that they think that they're going to live on Social Security and this retirement crap because they think, well, I'm living in another country. The cost of living is lower. Absolutely, it is. But you still have American habits of wanting to buy stuff and all this other stuff that we've been kind of drilled into. To be a minimalistic type of person, it's kind of on the rough side when you want to go out and play, okay? Because everything costs money to move around. But that being said, even when we're outside the United States and I stay anywhere for any period of time, people want to know, well, how are you making your money? Because they're struggling. So for you expats, this can be done anywhere. So keep that in mind. You don't have to be in an office. You can literally be at a coffee cafe, at your home, wherever you need to be. As long as you got that high-speed internet and the rest of your equipment, your phone, your computer, and your noise canceling headset, this is the way to roll. And you can literally, like I said, I'm going to top it again because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to have to do this full time. I've got a lot of people that start out part time in building their business with this and then transitioning into the full time as those relationships are building with those owner operators. But then a lot of them get people to come in, bring their equipment, and they're so pushed up against the wall. They say, here, take my equipment and make money for me on my equipment. And by the time we get to the end of the course, obviously you'll know how to do that. But anyways, let's keep this thing moving. Now, how does this enhance your quality of life? For truck drivers, the guys that are out there on the road, because this was originally made to help truck drivers, right? Then we started incorporating on all the other people in the general population that want to get access to logistics and how we do what we do, right? So the whole point for you guys that are actually on the road, all of that stuff, driving all night, putting on snow chains, dealing with broke down, pop tires, brake chambers, other size roadside breakdowns, dealing with crazy shippers, crazy receivers, and dispatchers that you want to kill. This obviously solves all that for you, okay? You're now able to be back home with your family, work from home, and finally feel like there's a lot more stability if you choose to go this route. I used to be in love with semi trucks too. I miss it from time to time, but I definitely appreciate the change that I've experienced since I've actually transitioned out of the truck and back into a moderately regular lifestyle because I still travel around the world, so sometimes my work hours are strange. But for everybody else that's looking to come in logistics, whatever your your current state in life is, this kills it where you don't have to drive to go to work. You don't have to buy lunch. You don't have to be a part of the little social network that are inside these companies when you actually go to a physical location and work every day. The harassment that I know people receive is there because I even know it's inside a truck in itself, but all those things out the window because now you are dealing with your owner operator, and dealing with whoever you're getting the freight from. And that's as far as it goes. There ain't no eye to eye, there ain't no on site. You let technology take over, and this will actually transform your life where you can spend more time with your loved ones and really cherish the things that are really what make life worthwhile in itself. So for anybody that's working from home, it's still basically the same thing. Computer, that overpriced $1,200 or $1,500 smartphone you have as a computer. So between that desktop or that laptop computer and that smartphone, that should get you where you need to get so you're not always stuck at the house. You can do a lot of things while you're in motion, running around getting some errands done with that smartphone. That high-speed internet, totally necessary. Make sure you have it and that it don't go down. If it does, if you're United States doesn't have rolling blackouts to the most part, but the places for us people that we move around like and go to other countries, we know to keep us a generator, at least a small dinky one, if we're going to stay anywhere for any significant time in case those rolling brownouts happen. And that noise canceling headsets, because you don't not want everybody hearing the kids hollering in the background, the dogs barking, and even your significant other saying, hey, baby, get me this or get me that or whatever it is, right? You need all that killed out. You need to maintain that professional approach, because anything being heard in that background distracts that other people, the other person on the other end of that line from being focused on the problem at hand, which delays it and makes the conversation get drawn out for no significant reason, right? So make sure you have that in place when you get ready to do this, or you're gonna regret it, and it's probably actually gonna affect your, not one, but your job performance, but your professional presentation. So make sure you got this in place. Okay, one of the big questions we always get is, how do I get started? Easy. You go inside the website, you sign up for the course. It's actually going to request a payment. You click it, you make whichever payment you want. Then the back office, they will see that you've already paid for your course. They will activate your classroom, which is web-based through Truck Driver Nation. They'll send you the contract. That contract has to be signed first, because that tells you what we've discussed and all of this. And of course, there's some other stuff that you get, because we just don't want to waste time keep going through this webinar. But all that is everything you get. So you know you're getting every single thing that you paid for. After that, they turn on the course. You are now up and going. You start engaging. Once you get that, you also got to remember that you have to send. You're going to need to get Telegram on your phone and then put it on your laptop. Once you get it on those both devices, then you definitely want to be signing up for, not including the text that you'll send me through Telegram, but you want to make sure you get up for the webinars that we have that happen on Thursday. Now, the one-on-one session is through the Telegram. That is me literally texting you based on what you're asking. Now, if you want a one-on-one coaching where you actually want me to actually tell you how we do business, you do have to sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, because I'm telling you everything that I do in my personal business and why I'm making so much money. So I give that to you. So that's the reason you have to have an NDA. You cannot disclose nothing about Truck Driver Nation on how we are actually succeeding on the level that we are. But with the regular course, that will totally get you. You are now a freight dispatcher, and we give you assistance. As long as you get everything you need through Telegram, we will give you everything you need as far as you asking questions through there. But there's nothing like a one-on-one conversation, in addition to all the other extra stuff that we give you based on our conversations. Because once we start having a conversation, the information transfers a lot faster. And you say, well, I'm interested in that. Can you give me this? And I'll tell you, yes, I have it in my hands, or no, I don't, or who you can contact to have access to that asset. Get certified in less than 30 days, 100% possible. You got 90 days total to complete the course, with an additional, depending on the course that you're actually taking, another 9 to 15 months to actually do the continued webinars for the mentorship for the problems that you may or may not have. A lot of people don't even need them, but we offer that because I don't want nobody to actually slip and fall, because a lot of people just need help and understanding what's going on in the industry, and that's what I'm here for. But obviously you got 30 days to do it, 3 times to take the test, that type of deal. But you know, if you actually have to take the test a 4th time, it's $55, but we usually don't see it. Most people actually pass it in the 1st time. It ain't that difficult. If you just need to be certified and you know what you're doing, don't need the course or not, we can do a certification. It's $200. It's still the same thing. For the $200, you get 3 times to take the test, and then obviously on the 4th time it's $55. So just keep that in mind if that's all you're going to need, and you'll get a certification, and it'll have Truck Driver Nation that, you know, we certified that you were able to beat the minimum. Be able to take the test and you pass the minimum requirements as far as knowledge base. This is just to hit again on the final exam policy. I know we just covered it in a couple slides back, but obviously same thing, 3 attempts, you don't pass into the 3rd time, then there is a $55 fee to take it a 4th time each time after. Reason we do it's not for punishment. We just don't want people wasting their time, our time. But you have to actually make an 85% on the final exam to pass. We do use a proctoring software to keep people from cheating. All the questions are scenario based, so be aware of that. But outside of that, that's all it takes to get certified and obviously get the freight dispatching. This right here is what the course, the actual test looked like. It's going to be different than this, but the overall scenario is a scenario-based question. It gives you the answers, multiple choice, and then obviously at the end of the test, because it doesn't provide it as the test is being taken. But once you're done, if you want the actual, the correct answer and the rationale, why was that answer, please let us know and I'll get that to you. Software. People ask about software and training you on software. We're not here to teach computer science, okay? But what we do is we have videos inside the course based on all of these platforms right here. We will show you how we use it and the parts that we use. I don't push every single button that's in the software. We only use what we need to actually make our days function day to day as freight dispatchers. That being said, please help yourself to it. If you want to press those other buttons, if you take the course, help yourself to it. But for us, we literally just teach you the basics of what we utilize. All right, so now let's talk about car hauling. We do teach car hauling, being a dispatcher. If you don't know a lot about car hauling, I can't teach you every aspect of this. I can teach you how to dispatch cars, but you got to remember this is a conversation that we're going to have on the side, because I was a car hauler for 7 years and this is a very specialized niche inside logistics. And the only reason I'm even offering this, that I mainly teach dry van, reefer, flatbed, and step deck. The only reason I'm teaching this to people, and there is an extra charge because this literally extracts me from what we normally teach to teach you this. The money is great in this, absolutely. It is a little bit more time intensive as far as being a dispatcher, because every car you pull off, you have to replace it with another car type of deal. So right here, this is a 9-car hauler, 5 on the top rack, 4 on the bottom rack. And but if you want to discuss about becoming a car hauler dispatcher, we can go over that and we can cover this content so you can be up to speed on it. Please listen to this. This is actually important. What kind of owner operators do we deal with? We only deal with the owner operators that have their MC, their DOT, their load boards, because they're going to have their load boards, because remember, you got to have an MC number in order to be able to access the load boards. For some of y'all that didn't know that, I apologize. I shouldn't have threw that at you like you should have known. Their fuel cards. They have their truck and their trailer, insurance, base plates, and all that good stuff. Even if they're power only, I'll show you how, because we got the stuff in there inside the website that you can get them a trailer. So that being said, this is the only type of owner operators that we are focused on. Unless you go to work for a carrier that already has their own trucks and stuff, which are giving away 2/3 of your pay. But in that instance, they deal on a totally different page than what I actually teach you on how to be an independent freight dispatcher. If you want to get your own MC or DOT number, then help yourself to it. I would highly suggest against it, because people are not going to care about your MC. And if you end up getting a freight guard on it or PSP violations and stuff like that, you're going to come to regret it. But that being said, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, please ask me at the end of the presentation. Okay, this right here is Truck Driver Nation dispatching fees. This is what I personally charge. I'm a freight dispatcher, okay? But I only do step decks. But 10% if they bring me one truck, 8% if they bring me multiple trucks. This is to ensure that you understand what you're worth. You sitting in front of that computer doing all that back end paperwork, everything really is a job. So don't think, well, this is a get rich. Yes, the money's there and it's great money, but you're actually getting paid for what you're doing. That being said, you can actually do it cheaper than this, and another way that we show you how to do it part-time, but you don't have all the responsibilities of being a full-fledged independent freight dispatcher. And obviously, as you get into the course, and if you go through the website, you'll see where we actually have that offered in there. But if you're a VIP or an elite student, then we actually give you that the access to understand how that platform works, so you can actually do this on a part-time basis or on a full-time basis. And the way that I'd usually tell people to understand how that really would work for you in a better way is actually do it on a part-time basis. And when those people build up the trust in you, they're going to actually want you to dispatch their truck on a full-time basis. Now, obviously, like I said, some will come through. They want to give you their truck on a full-time basis, and out the gate you go. But when you're actually doing it on a full-time basis and they come through, always make sure you follow the checks and balances that we're going to teach you to ensure that that is a quality owner operator that you're dealing with, and it's not just somebody coming with a bunch of problems that now they done got themselves in such a hole that they can't get dug out, and you got to make sure that you can actually dig them out if they're, because it comes in all forms and fashions and shapes, type of deal. So, but anyways, we'll cover that inside the course. But this is obviously, what you should look for when you're actually getting paid for these trucks when you're dispatching. So, why Truck Driver Nation is more than just a dispatch service. So when you actually become a freight dispatcher, there's going to be things that you're going to need to offer an owner-operator, not just the service itself, but things that make you more valuable to them in order for them to want to use you for their service. Look, if somebody is making $6,000 and I'm charging them 10%, so I'm charging them $600 that they made for that week, why would I want them to feel that hit when I should really be making somewhere around $7,000 so they don't even realize I'm there, right? That's step one. Step two is, what else can I offer that owner operator to make my services more appealing to them than another dispatch service? That's going to be my competition. One, because you're actually dealing with Truck Driver Nation, you can offer them free truck drivers because we do truck driver recruiting. We got plenty of drivers. You need drivers, let us know. Offer that to your owner operator. Second, if you actually prove that they actually is an MC that they have, and we got requirements for this, we will actually give you a gift certificate for that owner operator if that helps you draw them in. Okay, now when they get ready to present that certificate, they actually have to have a valid MC number, and we will cross-reference to make sure that they're with you. We will want to see the contract and everything that they sign with you as far as the freight dispatch service agreement. So we do have checks and balances. We're not just giving this away and people think they're going to abuse it. We've been in this game a long time, so please don't test it. The other thing, direct shipper access. If you actually know where your person is going to be, your owner operator, if you can always just send it through Telegram and say, I've got a guy, he wants to stay on this given lane, and if I have something on there that I can tell you about that we know or we're already doing business with that is a direct shipper, then I will be more than happy to share them with you. And if you can actually generate business from them, help yourself. And also, ask me about, once you get into the course, we'll go over different ways that I use to actually generate my direct shippers. The things that you're going to want to offer them to help them be successful, tell them you do all their back office paperwork. You make sure that all their IFTA stuff, DOT, everything that is actually renewable every year, you're assisting them with that. All their invoices, the rate confirmations, you need to be able to do all that to get it to factoring. Access to top load boards. Let them understand it's not just that you're going to be using their DAT and truck stop, but that you're putting their trucks out there on every board that you possibly can post their trucks up for availability, so you can actually have those given brokers actually reaching out to you. It's just not a one-way level of communication. And also dispatch planning and industry updates. You tell them you really do watch those boards, because I'm going to teach you how to determine what the industry is doing for the given seasons to strategically be able to place your truck in those regions where it's going to increase the overall gross revenue. Is it 100%? Anybody in logistics knows that it's not 100%. But if you're using the software you have available and the common sense that we teach you, once after we teach you how to do this, if you keep to these basic skill sets, then you will be able to determine these factors. And as far as fleet growth coaching, if you understand, we'll teach you why and how to grow a fleet. If you want to know that, just ask us the questions, because it ain't something we give out, but really you're going to have to be a VIP in order to get that type of data, because it's more entailed and it really is outside the realm of learning how to be a freight dispatcher. But I put it in here just to remind myself. If you want to know how to grow your fleet or grow a fleet, then let me know, because remember, we're truck driver recruiters and we know what the big carriers are doing and how they do it, because we have to know it in order to present it to the people that want to be lease purchase or lease rental truckers that want to come in and attempt to actually buy the equipment from those bigger carriers. Okay, an important note here, don't take too many owner operators when you actually start doing this. When you actually start the course, we can obviously get you where you're actually already working even before you get the course finished, right? Because when you're doing this in a part-time and a full-time aspect, you're going to see that people want to work with you because they need help. But that being said, don't overflood yourself, because if you do, it's going to ruin your name. The industry is big, okay? The trucking industry is big. But if you get a bad name out there, I mean, look up Super Ego, but they really screwed over people a long time before they got noticed. But even eventually, everybody's reputation comes back to bite them. So make sure You only do what you can do. And if you're getting too big, then let us know. I mean, we got to outsource virtual assistants, freight dispatchers, people that you can pay pennies on the dollar to work for you. So just be careful with this. And remember, I'll be mentoring you. So keep in mind to keep me up to speed of where you're at, what you're doing, so you don't end up hurting your business. Now, this is where the difference comes in with Truck Driver Nation. We are now teaching you AI. We don't charge nothing extra. Everybody needs to know it. For those folks that are resisting and thinking, oh, I'm not going to learn AI, you're completely wrong. Now, let me stop here for a second. The way you're using AI and the way AI works inside actual industries is totally different. A lot of y'all are using AI like it is Google, okay? AI is its own intellectual platform that actually will help you as a freight dispatcher, not just to dispatch easier, to be able to dispatch more, faster, and obviously makes you more effective and more professional, but also increases your overall what you're actually bringing in as far as the revenue that you're owning, because you're going to still be able to keep the regular rate that you're charging. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know to y'all that are in here looking, trying to figure out if you want to be a freight dispatcher, this may make no sense at all. But the old way no longer is enough. Okay, the industry is changing, the world is changing, and AI is changing it. Suck it up, get on board. It ain't going to wait for you. So if you're going to come actually use us to learn how to be a freight dispatcher, we're teaching you AI. You're going to need it, and you can thank us later. But every industry is going through the automation, and it's becoming more and more competitive. Uh, competitive. But this is going to make you not just more competitive, it's going to make you more efficient. AI is removing all that low value work, not that the dispatcher is just wasting time on. Let the computer do that work, okay? This actually shifts, creates a bigger opportunity for the skilled dispatchers. You've now learning a new skill. Everything that we teach you at Truck Driver Nation is something that you're adding to your resume. So this removes all the manual work. Each dispatcher can now handle more carriers, book loads so much faster, reduce the downtime, and increase the total revenue per truck. That means when we're talking about increasing total revenue per truck, when you're actually matching a load with a truck and you're like, well, it's going to be this amount, AI is going to make it so you know that it's that amount, because you're already going to have the ability to, it's going to figure out if that truck's profitable and everything based on that particular truck. In addition to, so you automatically know what it has to be negotiated out as. Okay, people are not going to like this because you're like, well, I like negotiating by manual. How much time do you spend negotiating a rate and not knowing that it was profitable or not? Okay, this is going to solve that whole problem right there and bring you up. So now, like if I was doing 10 trucks, now I could do 15 trucks or more. So now why the average dispatchers will struggle and skilled dispatchers will win? Because I'm gonna be honest, it's right here. It says technology does not remove opportunity. It separates high performers from low performers. You could thank us later. I made my mind up. I own this company. I made my mind up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to teach computer science. I'm not going to teach you all the increments of each piece of software, but I'm going to teach you the AI aspect of it so that it all makes sense and so you become more profitable. There's nobody teaching AI when they're actually doing this. And that's what is making me even stand out further than all these other people that are saying, oh, I'm going to teach you freight dispatching. And they don't have a system, they don't have a strategy, they don't have nothing. We're already set up. So we are actually putting this into this platform so you can now learn AI. Now, why this actually increases your income potential? Listen, dispatching is performance based, okay? If you're more efficient, that obviously equals to more freight moved, which obviously equals to more revenue generated. The same number of people, one person doing X number of trucks now can do more trucks. You keep your rates at what they are. There's no reason to change them. And that way you're actually making more revenue. And why dispatcher is still one of the strongest remote careers? Look, AI reduces the manual workload, which actually really truly makes the remote work more scalable, not less. So by AI taking all those little knick-knack problems and it's automated into what it's doing for you just by having access to your data, that makes it where now you can actually be scalable. You can actually Bring more people on. You ain't got to worry about them making nearly as many mistakes because AI is your think tank on their behalf. Yes, they still got to do their job because that interpersonal relationship that you have as a freight dispatcher with the owner operators, 100% necessary. In other words, why should you trust Truck Driver Nation on my dispatch service side? Why should you trust me to actually dispatch your equipment? I've got one thing. I am AI integrated. And you might have to go through and explain them what that actually gives you, the strength and the power over all these people still trying to think they're going to keep playing it manually. That's just childish, okay? Everything you learn, one, makes you stronger. But when you learn something and then you're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, can you not see how you can win-win with this? I hope you get it. So how Truck Driver Nation prepares you for the AI-powered freight industry, we don't teach outdated dispatching methods. We train people to operate in the current and future version of freight dispatching, okay? So AI is the future, okay? This skill is going to make the difference in everybody and give you the cutting advantage over everybody else that's in it, and you're getting it here on the front end. You're not waiting till after fact and then trying to play catch up. And if you understand something, when everybody's trying to transition and you've already learned it from us, that's going to make you so much stronger. You're going to be killing it. I mean, in every aspect. Not just, even think about it. If I got somebody, I'm recruiting them, and my AI system knows about it. Okay, it knows whether they were eligible, not eligible. I can ask it, hey, should I go back to this? That's just in those platforms. Now I'm using it to actually book loads. Now I'm actually able to negotiate the rates out faster. I'm able to handle more trucks. I'm able to scale it using other people inside my organization and know that they're not actually failing me because I can actually watch their performance with the whole time AI watching my back, me not just depending on the human factor. I hope you get it, okay? But anyways, this is just to introduce you to freight dispatching, but I'm super excited about the AI aspect. So, just keep that in mind when you're considering us. Okay, what this is just a weekly settlement. Obviously, if you just happen to get this on this week's webinar, this one was from May the 4th to May the 10th. I don't update these all the time, but I updated it because this was a pretty good week for us, as far as what we do. And the weeks are going to be up and down. They're not always going to be consistent. But that being said, remember, I only do step decks and we are only over the road. And every one of these trucks, all these guys just own one truck. So everybody gets charged 10%. So this is one freight dispatcher handling these 7 trucks because I don't really dispatch the loads and more. I have outsourced freight dispatchers that handle all this mess for me. But that being said, we're just going to run across Terry right here real quick. So Terry, he actually did 3,200 miles for the week. He did gross revenue was 10,800. He ran 4 loads, and at $4.36, that's what he actually averaged per load. It does that mean each load made $3.36. Some of them may have paid higher, some of them may have paid lower, but the overall average was $3.36. And then obviously our rate goal met. Yes, we met them. If we don't meet them, we actually discuss with them to make sure that they're not dissatisfied, that they're looking at other options, because our owner operators can leave us at any point if we don't meet their baseline needs for their trucks. If their trucks are not profitable, then we have a problem. And the biggest thing that I look at, like I told you in the initial calculator, I have to meet at least $8,500 a week. So now you can see that I'm above that. But I always use the baseline because if I go below 8,500, if it makes us scared, we're worried that we're going to lose one of our owner operators. And everybody here has been with us over a year. But anyways, obviously we got some of their information marked out because their information is confidential, so we don't just share who they are, because we want to be able to share this content with you. But anyways, for this given week, we did a total gross revenue of $70,000, $70,200 if you want to get specific. And obviously, since we charged 10%, which obviously makes it $7,020. Now, the net carrier payout, that means after we deducted our $7,020, that's what Truck Driver Nation made. That's before we take overhead out of it. For this given instance, it's $63,180. It was paid out to the drivers. But now you have to remember something. This is only our full-time owner ops that we dispatch for them with a complete freight dispatch service agreement. The other ones that we still do that we don't put on this board, we keep them segregate because we want to make sure that we're nurturing those relationships. They actually are going to be the ones that we do part-time. We probably just giving them loads. If they take it, well, then obviously we still get paid a percentage for that. And some we charge around 5% for those loads, which I didn't show you that one. I figured this would be suffice because I don't want you to get confused. I'm trying to keep it simple because I know a lot of y'all have not been exposed to this yet. But that being said, um, the total miles that we covered this week was actually 22,860. And that being said, that was averaged out at $3.21 per mile. Now, that is 4 cents under each mile that we wanted to actually see for the given week for our trucks. And you'll see why, because if I take 4 cents and I multiply it times that 22,860, that's going to be about just, I think it's just over $900. So you just take it, just take 4 cents times the 22,000, which if, let me do it on the calculator real quick. So that would actually be, yeah, I was almost right on it. That'd be $914.40 that was short of being the $3.25. Now, that being said, we did a total of 25 loads for the week, and our rate goal achievement is 100%. So we put our rate goal achievement actually at $3. Actually, it's really I'm looking at is actually their weekly gross revenue. Did we actually make everybody make $8,500 and above? And we did. So we really, even though we didn't make it on the actual price point at $3.21 average per mile, but we did on the overall market, our team, that we dispatch, everybody got over $8,500 for the week, and obviously that satisfies the needs of those given owner operators. So you got to make sure if you're not meeting their needs, then you got a problem. But anyways, that being said, that's what this looks like. Let me think of anything else I can tell you real quick. Um, I guess that's about it. But anyways, this is what your week should look like. Um, that being said, 7,000 is 100% achievable, and but remember, I do step decks. I don't do dry van, I don't do reefer, and I don't do flatbed. I only focus on step decks. So that's the reason I tell people if you get going on this, yes, you're going to have trucks in different variations, maybe even some non-CDL, some hot shots, some Sprinter vans. But that being said, just focus on the truck that you find that you feel more comfortable with and focus on that. Don't try to be a master of everything. When I'm looking at my freight, I just look on everything for step decks, or actually my freight dispatcher does, and it makes it a lot easier on him doing his job. And remember, he's still doing other stuff outside this. He's still giving loads to the truckers that I hand him on his board that may be our initial relationship. And for those, we actually keep different notes because we want to make sure that they're pleased. How many loads did they take? Where was it from? Where was it to? All that type of stuff. How, even the response times, how quick were they did they get back to us? What form of communication did we use to get the response? That type of stuff, because we're looking at the analytics of it all to make sure that they're really interested and obviously working with them. And the more we see they take from us, then obviously that's building a relationship. Now, once we build a relationship and they come on board as a full-time asset to us in our dispatch service, then we actually everybody goes to the 8 or 10%. Even though we're giving 5% because we're not really doing much for them outside giving them the freight and showing them we can get them the freight that pays. That's kind of how that transitions into that full-time relationship. But anyways, that being said, just I'm just giving you another second so y'all guys can look at this. But obviously, if you take this out, and if you want to figure out per mile, all you do is take the 10,800 divided by the 3,210, and that'll give you your $3.36 per mile if you're looking at Terry on the top row. Because each one's going to be different based on where they run. None of these guys run in the same area. Okay, the whole time I'm looking at them, and you're going to see that your address, your city, and your state, which I know my people, you're always going to be looking at that because when they go out on the road, the whole time you're going to be trying to push them back toward their house because they've got to get rest too. So don't wait the last minute till you get your trucks headed back toward the house, and it might take them 2 days to get home. They're not going to feel that neither. But we'll teach you all that on the parameters of providing good customer service to your owner operators. Okay, I wasn't going to put this one in here, but I just don't want this to confuse you. This is all the trucks that we actually do that we don't do full time. So we're not full freight dispatch service for them. What we do, we basically just find them the loads, send the loads to them, and if they want the load, then they take it, and then we make either 4 or 5%. That's what we charge. And as you're looking at this, to make this nice and short, this is the same pay period as the previous settlement sheet, but for this one, we got 17 drivers on this one. But being that, obviously, the next thing you're going to be able to notice is these are various type of trailers. We don't have them all being step decks. So it doesn't really bother me because I'm not chasing this. I mean, I've got a freight dispatcher. I outsource even my own dispatch service to folks from the Philippines, and they're good guys. You know, they manage to do this, and they do a good job, as you can see. But that being said, that's always keep their home state on here because that's the whole point. You want to keep them moving back toward their home state because they got to have time off. Now, for these guys, I'm not nearly as worried so because I'm not their full-time freight dispatcher. All that back end and worrying about when they get home, that's all on them. But I just keep their city and state where they're out of, and I don't even put their address on here. But obviously, we document how many loads we did because we want to see their interest. Now, the ones that say 0 may or may not have been people that were taking home time for that week, or they just didn't take no loads from us. And then obviously, we kind of keep a general idea. All we can do on this one, though, is take the miles off the loaded miles of the load that they got because we don't figure in their deadhead miles or nothing because we're not a full freight dispatch for them. We're just giving them the loads. And then the weekly gross is what they actually generated off the loads for that given week, the gross revenue, because this is what we're actually invoicing against. And then the next one's going to be what that actually ended up looking at per mile for that truck. And then we take that. Well, actually, we take the weekly gross revenue and we take that percent of it. See the dispatch fee? That's the percent that we take of the gross revenue. And then that actually ends up showing what the that actually ends up going in there and showing exactly what the dispatch earnings were. So that being said, that's what we actually earned off of each one from the weekly gross revenue. And then I've actually, you can go down here to the final overview. So yes, it's a lot, but it's actually a lot easier, but we make a lot less. Okay, so I've got 7 trucks and I made over 7,000 for this week, but like here, you can easily see I only made 3,777 with the 17 trucks. But the thing is, I'm not doing it part-time. And between all the loads, I got my freight dispatcher looking just to throw them freight. But at the same time, I'm building up relationships with these owner operators, and they're easy to get when you're actually doing them as a part-time basis because they know they still got complete control over their truck and they're not depending on you to be their full-time freight dispatcher. Then the next thing is what we actually averaged across all the trucks that we dispatched. We actually did $3.32. And obviously, then what we do is we go down and empty miles. What we do is we don't keep track of each of their empty miles. We just do a percentage of the total empty miles. It was 12% estimated, and that's not good. It needs to be between 10 and 15%. We try to keep it down below the 10%. If we can't, it's just bad week. I mean, not a bad week. It's just bad spots where the truck was at. And obviously the number of loads we actually did, we did the same amount just like we did on the other one. So for the same amount of loads that we did 25 on here and I think it was 25 on the previous one. See the difference? So the average loads per truck, because we want to keep it, for us, we try to keep it above 3 loads per truck. But now this is averaging out all 17, not including the ones that we didn't load. We just go and divide it by 17. So that goes up and down, but we have 1.47 loads per truck, which is just a fraction. And you really don't have to worry about it. That's something that I look at. And then obviously, like I said, back again, total dispatch earnings, we're looking at the report summary was the $3,777 that we made. And the high person on here actually was Eric. He actually did 4 loads. So it was almost like we was dispatching him full time. So, we didn't make a big truck. I mean, it's just like we got it, but we're not under. If I could do every truck like this, that would be a really great blessing because I'm doing the exact same thing. Now, obviously, I'm not making as much because I'm only making what Eric I made. What did we make off Eric? Give me a second. So Eric, it looks like we make 5% off him. So we made $535 off of Eric for these 4 loads. And I just do this because if I keep the high ones up here, then that means the ones I need to start going back and kind of talking to see, okay, you see how we're doing our loads, give it 2 or 3 times, and then say, do you want me to just go and dispatch you full time? And they'll make that call. And then obviously the lowest gross revenue, we actually had 5 trucks that didn't take no loads, and we don't like that. Okay. Now, obviously, we don't never like that, but that's not unusual because everybody's taking time off or they're not using us or whatever. They're just not taking a freight. And we'll kind of document that. But if we continue to see the same trucks ended up being zero, at some point we'll actually just basically I give them about 3 months. If I just see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, because I can go back and look at the analytics on it because we got a software that breaks this down for us, then I'll just take them off the board, you know. And if they, I'll just, now we won't just close to say, you know, we can't work with you. We'll just say when you actually need freight because we have to spend time on finding these loads for you and you're just not taking them, so you must be doing better than what we're doing for you, then get back with us and then we can start sending you loads again. And usually they do. You know, you just got to be patient. We're not in no hurry. I mean, this is what we do day in and out anyway, day in and out anyway, so what big difference is it going to make? Now, this is the standard course. This is the lowest course that we have. Now, in this course, you're going to get the full understanding of how to be a freight dispatcher. Now, you still get mentorship, but you don't get that one-on-one mentorship that I give to my VIP students and especially to my elite students. You know, the VIP, I have to give you, I can't, because I can't cover you every single second of the way. But now, if this material that I'm seeing, it doesn't matter if you're elite or you're VIP, you know, if you're not reading your material and you keep coming at me with the same old questions, I can easily, you know, I wrote the course. I know what's supposed to be in there. Then I know what I'm supposed to be hearing coming out of your mouth, coming my direction. So if you're not taking that initiative, then obviously we've got a problem there. But with the standard course, you can easily just start this one right here. We got a pay as you go. That right there gives you a very cheap way to get going into this. We've also got the afterpay, which we'll discuss here in a minute. And then, you know, if you just want to pay it and be done with it, and obviously you're all set up, but you can always upgrade. So when you go to the pay portal, make sure to look at what the difference in between going from one level to the next. So, and a lot of people do. They start out here and then they're moving up to the VIP. You'll see the rationale in it once you get going. But obviously, this is a good place. Some of you guys have already got experience. Make sure you understand that. Now, remember, I'll have to show you here in just a moment. It's called that quick qualification course. So give me one moment and we'll go over that as well. This is going to be the VIP. The biggest thing about VIP, you get the standard course and it don't have the nearly, I mean, I guess you get a lot more than you do obviously with the standard course, but with this right here, you're not getting the all-inclusive elbow to elbow every step of the way type of deal. But what's the biggest factor that's going to help you out is those Tuesday webinars. So you're going to be rubbing the elbows with the elite students, and we go over everything when it comes to business. But you got to bring something to the table. I don't want to hear people coming in there and you ain't done nothing. If you're not going to help yourself, we can't help you. Okay, you've got to get up and you got to put your ass in gear, because the whole point behind this is you're paying me to get you there with the least amount of resistance. You want your return on your investment, then you've got to work with us on this. We get so many people that come in here and they think, okay, well, I'm going to just, you know, kind of breeze my way through it, and this is going to put me in a position where I have these owner operators. You're delusionized. You've got to put the work in. But the biggest thing that's going to help you guys in here is definitely going to be that Tuesday webinar. So I think about that big time when you're doing this. A lot of people end up getting the basic course, and minimum, they upgrade to the VIP because they realize how much of a necessity is to talk about freight dispatching and all the stuff that comes along with it. Freight dispatching is the baseline, but truck driver recruiting, the owner operators, the truck drivers themselves, and the strategies that we use inside trucking, not just freight dispatching, is going to be a big benefit because we talk about software, we talk about different platforms that are out there. I mean, we get some really good conversations going, even some that amaze me. So keep that in mind when it comes to making the VIP choice. This right here is going to be the $3,975 for the elite course. The elite course is for those people that just don't want to sit here and go step by step trying to figure it out. They want to concentrate on the freight dispatching course and be able to just pick their business up. We give you everything that you need inside of this. So it goes from everything, you know, if you want a custom logo, we don't sit there and design the custom logo. I take whatever you got an idea and I make it into a logo. Your branding's going to build after time. Absolutely. I'll let you say you're associated with Truck Driver Nation. Website, we build the basic website for you because there's going to be things in there that you don't necessarily see our point of view when we actually look at being a freight dispatch service. So you can go back in there later and change those things up. With your email should come the business your business email and your domain and all that. Forms do come with the course. Also, you get so it also obviously you get the full dispatch training. You get that with all of them. Webinar mentorship. I'm going to mentorship. I mean, the mentorship continues on. Okay, it doesn't matter who you are. That's got to continue on. Your LLC, EIN, and now I'm not going to play with your banks. Okay, I'll tell you how it's done, but the contracts, you need to get your contracts set up. Let's see what load board mastery. So yeah, with the load board mastery, we spend time on it, probably more than I do with any of the other ones, since this is a self-paced course. That's the whole point, why it's so cheap. But where you guys that are actually elite, we go through it. As far as, if you want to dispatch, it really is going to depend on what you're going to want to dispatch after the fact, because even though I teach dry-van, reefer, flatbed, and step deck, you might want to be interested in car hauling, or you might be interested in oil field. We'll have to go over that because I don't have access to those privatized boards, like I say, with the oil field. Rate negotiation, obviously, we'll go over that. A hell of a lot more. Basically, you're hooked at the hip. I don't know why I'm going down this step by step. With Elite, you're literally hooked with me at the hip. I need to know everything that you need to understand. The one-on-one business mentorship is not the same thing as the mentorship you get with the course itself. With the business mentorship, I'm going to tell you how business is really done in this, so that way, obviously you're going to do business whichever way you want, but I'm going to tell you how it's really done, so that way you get a good understanding that, okay, I got to be like this in order to get these types of results. I didn't invent it. I didn't make the standard operating procedures the way they are. They already existed before I got in here, but what I did is I modified some stuff to make it a lot more effective, a lot more easier for you to actually see the results as far as the return on your investment. So just keep that in mind when it comes to this. The flexible enrollment plan, this is going to be the pay as you go. So you can start today and build tomorrow, so you can actually get going in the course. Just go into there's an actual tab inside the website that says pay as you go, and go in there, and it has the terms and conditions. But outside that, just make a payment. The rest of it's busted up into 4 other payments, and then after that, you got everything paid off. But it gives you access to the course. You can start learning and getting moving toward completing the course to become a freight dispatcher. This has to do with the forms of payments that we have at Truck Driver Nation that allow you to pay for your course, depending on the course you're picking. Obviously, most people go with Square. They use Afterpay. Next thing, if you don't want the transaction fees, use Zelle. The other platforms, everybody's familiar with them, so you know what they require and you know the transaction fees that go through them. But the problem is, we have a transaction fee for all those because everything goes through Square, because that's our point of sale system. So be advised, if you don't want transaction fees, please go through Square. The majority of people use Afterpay, which is obviously the best one that we have to offer. We do have some other alternative ways of paying inside there once you click on it. And so please take a close look at everything so you can decide what works best for you when purchasing your program. All right, this is for all of y'all that already know who I am. Here it is. I told you I'd get it. The quick qualification course. This is for my VIP and elite people. Okay. Now, yes, you still get access to the standard course. That doesn't change. It's just some of you guys already had working histories, whether you've been messing around being a brokerage owner, operators, dispatchers, freight brokers, office staff, etc. Y'all already had a good idea of what it needed to be done to get on through this, so you can obviously start dealing with your owner ops and get moving. So this here, I just made it nice and simple. It's literally the step-by-step, board your owner operator all the way down to you get paid. So it's 13 steps. Really, it's 12. The last one's load review kind of thing. I just left it in there because I really don't even have no damn real good answer for that one. But anyways, that being said, this is the short version. Now, if you get in here and there's data that you're missing, you just don't know something for some reason, which you should to the most part, but you can still got the full-fledged course. So you can go back to it and, and refreshing yourself up there, or cover it if you don't need it. Now, remember, I said VIP and elite only, and I got to say this because I got people that are in here that are just not listening. You got one hand watching porn, and then you got one hand looking at this, and that causes a problem because I get people after the fact wanting to sit here and say, well, you didn't say that. Yeah, we did. Okay. It's our course. We know what we're doing. You know, if you don't have no experience in this, I'm not even suggesting, if in fact, if you already, even if you don't feel like you don't need that full-fledged course, use this. Just knock out the problem and just go back to the big thick portion of the course, and you can refresh yourself or find out those topics that you don't need. So make your life easy, and so you can get going. Because man, you know, there ain't nothing like trying to put money into something and you're waiting on the return on the investment. Well, how long is, and I get this all the time in the questions, well, how long is it going to take me before I start making money? Man, you know, why would I ever put myself in that type of rat trap? You know, I don't know what it's going to take you to make money because I don't know your work ethic. But if you follow what we're saying, it doesn't take that long. But you got to do the work. It's not going to fix it to happen over 30 days. Now, that's delusional thinking. But if you're actually coming to the webinars, getting this information knocked out, you'll be up and going in no time flat. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Truck Driver Nation, what are we going to offer you that everybody else isn't offering you? Yeah, you get the basic course. I want to go through each portion of this, but I'm not going to sit here and drag it out because we're almost to the end of the actual presentation, so you can ask me more questions in the Q&A. But one, you get professional freight dispatch course. And thing is, this is over $15,000 in value, not including over $75,000 just in the contracts and stuff. If you don't know what you're looking for, do your research before you decide to come to Truck Driver Nation, because the thing is, people think we owe them something when we've already went way beyond what anybody will ever give you. We give you access to owner operators, to truck drivers, the whole 9 yards. But anyways, like I said, there's over 75,000 in law contracts. We got truck drivers for your owner operators if they need them. If you need leads, we give them out at about 1,000 in a batch. Remember, the leads, you have got to get on them within at least the first day, or don't ask for leads because you're wasting your time. These drivers are ready to go to work. Access to owner operators will show you how we get them, and then obviously how you can work with them on a full-time and part-time basis. We also incorporate Tech Stack for the VIP and elite students. So that way you're not having to work full-time, and obviously you're not leaving money on the table. What else we got? We got the fast-paced course. Now you got 90 days. Everybody gets 90 days to get it knocked out. If you can't get it knocked out in 90 days, then you're wasting our time to begin with. It should only take you a matter of 2 to 3 weeks to get this completed and really have a real good working knowledge of it. In addition to that, beyond the 90 days, you get 9 to 15 months extra mentorship that comes in webinar form every single week. If you're not there, you're hurting yourself. Custom calculators. We built lots of custom calculators for you people that don't know how to do math, just don't get if your truck's profitable. You stick the data in there and it gives you the answer. Free access to top software through your dispatch tools, which is provided you in the course. Also, we got the for those that just need the refresher course, that's going to be the fast track option as well for the elite and VIP students. Obviously, you get a certification. Certification is me signing off that, yes, I'm the one that taught you, and I've got over 30 years of experience. If you don't know it when I get done with you, then you were never meant to know it. Professional negotiation is not just how we negotiation, it's when to say yes, when to say no, and when to just realize that don't let this control who you are when you're trying to deal with these people. And sometimes these brokers do get hostile toward the freight dispatchers. Is it a bad thing? It's just there's always bad people in the pile of people that you're dealing with. You should know how that works. Job placement opportunities, we give you 3 options. Go with a carrier, go with us, or do this on your own. Multiple data resources. We got real market data, the tools, the links, and the resources to help you and your drivers succeed. Outsourced team support. We do outsourced team support if you want to actually not even do the job and you just want to get the outsourced help that already is experienced and knows how to do it. We outsource from the Philippines so we can get your freight dispatchers, virtual assistants, and truck driver recruiters to get your owner operators. Lead generation and business growth. Lead generation strategies that absolutely work. It's the same ones that we use. Referral programs to increase your income. How you actually need to negotiate that and when you use them, because everybody's looking for certain things, because the thing that every company wants is transparency on who they're actually doing business with. Build your own training programs. We'll actually go over that if you ask about that. We don't really just put that out there because, you know, it's basically you can do what I do type of thing. Whatever we do here at Truck Driver Nation, you can absolutely do the same thing. Learn how to scale and create multiple streams of revenue in the logistics side of this. Also, there's 3 forms of learning when you actually get the course. You got the ebooks, the audio, and the video. Hands-on practical skills. That's a step-by-step training on every part of dispatching. Direct access to instructor. That gets you answers anytime via Telegram. You're literally talking to me. VIP and elite webinars, which we hold on Tuesdays, and then the standard course is on Thursdays. Transparency. We give you everything. Kick back, take your time about this. There's no pressure. I am not about to chase you. You can kiss that one goodbye. And just real value to overall program that I built here. Okay. What else? You also have the pay-as-you-go for y'all that just are short on the pocket that society or the economy has pushed you down. We do have a pay-as-you-go to help you financially to be able to achieve this goal. Referral income opportunities. You bring somebody to us that helps our company, then obviously we give you a portion of the proceeds because everybody has to eat. Learn how to recruit and build your own driver network. Obviously, that just kind of comes with it. When we're having the discussions and the webinars and everything, that's a natural part of it. It's just one of the tools that we include. It's no extra charge. We give you so much that ain't even extra charge. It's ridiculous. But the thing is, it's literally just standard format of logistics. We're not just trying to cough up some bullshit course on you, and then you actually cannot do nothing with it at the end of the program. Dispatch tools and links. Like I said, in the dispatch tools, there is tons of stuff from load boards to you name it that you have access to. Now, this is more than just a course. It's a career. I mean, it really is a career. It took care of me for 30 years, right? Over 30 years. There's freedom from having to be sitting in an office. You now can make the decisions, and it's your business. So it is your future. With us, we're going to give you the knowledge, the tools, the support, the opportunity, and the freedom, and the rest of it's in your pocket. I can do a lot of things for you, but I can't carry you to the finish line if you don't want this. Now, obviously, join thousands of people who are building freedom through freight dispatching, and that's just in the general aspect of the industry. Now, your future is behind the wheel, and we'll show you obviously how to get there on the road and the opportunity of freight dispatching. So, Truck Driver Nation, training, tools, team, and freedom. So that's some of the core values that we keep here at Truck Driver Nation. I know we went through that fast, but the thing is, I want to get to the end of this webinar so we can obviously start answering your questions. This right here is actually inside of the website, so you can always go back over these points, and there's a better video when we go through these, but this gives you the general idea of everything outside that course that we're giving you for free so you can be successful. This is how to connect with us here at Truck Driver Nation, okay? Now, obviously, we got one that has all the social media platforms and everything we do, but this is the 4 that I focus on because, and we're going to teach you how to actually build your business in the social networking and how to use funnels and everything. Like I told you, we give you everything. There's nothing we miss. The only thing that makes people hurt in this is you choose not to work with us to help you. That's your call. I will never force a man to do something that he should be doing for himself, and we give you all the assets to make that possible. Now, obviously, if you want to get directly with me, lots of the phones, all you gotta do is turn on the camera and pop a picture of that QR code, and it will automatically just hit open and bring you directly to me. On the TikTok side, we do TikTok videos all the time. I just sit you to the side, and everybody, as I see you pop up, I don't just sit there and focus on it because I'm actually working. And the way I found out that this actually helps people to understand what my day looks like, or even the back office, what their day looks like. So that helps out a lot of people. The WhatsApp aspect gives you the international aspect of being able to deal with folks. Let's say, for example, you want us to get you an outsourced freight dispatcher, then this obviously lets you get connected inside WhatsApp where you can communicate with people from the Philippines, so that way you can decide when we do an interview and then you do the interview, do you really want to use them inside your organization? And then obviously YouTube, we've got a lot. Whether the course itself is complete, everything's in there. but we come up with a lot of topics that we find as the industry changes, because it's real dynamic in this industry. And all you're doing is making yourself better at it. And I even give you business tools, business reminders, business reels, and little short videos and stuff that if you just click on them, it brings that back to the forefront of your memory. You cannot remember everything. You got gray matter sitting in between your ears, and it's not just going to retain everything. But all of our contact information in here, so don't hesitate, don't be shy. It's an open door policy. Please reach out, and I'm here to help you. Right here is every social media aspect that you can get a hold of us. And we stay active on this because this actually helps build our business. The society's changed, the social media has changed, the way it dynamically is transferred. QR codes are not new, but we've learned that these work so much better. So we're going to definitely encourage you to use the methods that we use to push ourselves out there. Now, obviously, we build a lot of content as well. So when you're actually getting onto some of these like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc., we have content in every single one of them. So obviously, use this if you see necessary. And this is also in the website as well. So you can easily go in there and pop a picture of it and go straight to it and see what content is in there. Okay, I want to thank you for attending today. Thank you for coming to Truck Driver Nation webinar. Got, I think, 2 more slides, and we're going to go into the Q&A. For y'all that are leaving out, I hope you go back. Obviously, visit Truck Driver Nation website if you need more detail. There's a lot of stuff in there. Outside that, let's just keep it moving forward so we can get to the Q&A. All right, so now what we're fixing to do, we're fixing to open up everybody's mic because everybody was muted and everything. So we're going to open those. And when you're actually asking the questions and everything, there might be the chat box to the right side. It might be open. Somebody might be assisting me answering questions. So make sure you look to the right panel and see if there's that spot. I don't know if they normally, because usually it's one of the girls, might open up to receive questions as well, but they might just be putting content in there because I always have somebody attending this webinar with me to assist me with this aspect of it. But in addition to that, if there's going to be everybody's mic's going to be opened up, right? So please try to be courteous to each other. Don't step on each other, and please don't, take it as offensive because nobody's trying to step on you. It's just everybody's unlocked. I don't make people raise their hands. Everybody here is grown adults. So, let's be respectful. Get to the questions that you need. Let's get the right answers. Usually this time of the day, I'm already pretty tired. So if I bounce a little bit, please excuse me. Make sure you redirect me on the questions and we'll get them answered efficiently and effectively. And let's just kind of go from there. But anyways, let's move forward. All right, that's it. Party's over. I hope you enjoyed that whole thing. So give me just a second. We're gonna get everybody opened up here. So that's the reason I kind of give us a little jibber jabber here at the end because I got to get swapped over from this to that. So usually that's what Maria is doing, so I can talk to you guys. But anyways, hold up one moment and then let's start doing this Q&A.